Hey guys, in order to introduce myself, especially to y'all, I got to tell you a little bit about my story. So, my name is Ben Ashford. I go by BA. Yep, I need to be in the mic. I can yell now. I don't really need a mic. A little bit about my story. So, I was in construction management for 6 years prior to this profession. In '08 and '09, when the housing market crashed, I lost my job. I soul searched. I changed everything I knew. I got really passionate about exercise as a way to turn my life around. And what it did for me, I wanted to go do for others. And so I went to the University of Alabama and started getting my master's and volunteering in the weight room under Coach Saban and Coach Cochran. I still question that decision, but it was a heck of an environment to start in college athletics. However, it was at that moment that I found my calling in life and my true passion. I spent 3 years at University of Alabama. I spent 6 years as the head strength coach at Samford University. That's Sam, not Stan, in Birmingham under Coach Hatcher. And then Coach Huff hired me as soon as he took the job at Marshall. And he hired me for one reason. He said, I want the weight room run like Scott Cochran ran it at the University of Alabama. And that's not necessarily sets and reps, but I knew what he meant. And that's a way in which you run the weight room. There's a way, I truly, firmly believe, to get the most out of people. We are very much in a relationship job in my profession and in what I do. It is not so much X's and O's. I'm trying to get people to do what they don't necessarily want to do and do it every single day. So I'm a very, very firm believer in relationships. My passion in life is character development. My platform to develop your character as a football player is there's no better place than the weight room. So that's a little bit about my story. Most people don't really understand what we do, so I'd rather you ask questions and let me explain it like that and try to put it into terms because you don't see what we do. Very much like it that way. I like to train in the dark and shine in the light. I like our guys to put in all the work behind closed doors and then go show the final product. So I don't really like a lot of media attention. I don't like a lot of cameras in my weight room. You're not going to see anything me post. These are my guys, these are my videos, and that's very intentional. One is not about me, it's not about us. It's about trying to develop these guys to chase their dreams at the highest level and by any means necessary, but I want the final product to be what they do as a team and as an individual when they come out on Saturdays. So with that being said, I'll just open it up. Y'all ask me anything. I'm an open book. I'll try not to cuss. Did Coach Huff cuss? As long as I don't do that, I'll have him beat by one. Yes, sir.
So you started in '09. You've seen, obviously, kids change. How have you seen the preparation for kids to come into college as far as the strength and conditioning environment versus when you first started?
When I first started, it was, I'm not going to say easier, but linear. Linear being, if it was a bad college program, a bad high school program, but a good football player, bad program, meaning high school strength conditioning is pretty limited. I find very few high school kids that come in really well developed in the weight room. It takes years, by the way, as anybody that's ever trained, you feel really uncoordinated in the beginning, and it takes years to develop a weight room maturation. Some guys, back when we first started, guys would come in, they're just good athletes, you're just poor in the weight room, and that was okay. Our job was at that time just to develop general athletic base, but they were already a phenomenal football player, especially University of Alabama. They were the best of the best in the country. The difference is over the years, I'm not going to knock on any high school strength coach. The programming is still very weak. The programming is still very copied without an understanding of what am I trying to develop. And therefore, a high school kid, it's not even half and half. You'll have two or three that are pretty good lifters, pretty good at running mechanics, pretty good control of their body, and then the rest of them you're teaching from the ground up. The difference is, though, you're getting a lot, it's not just freshmen anymore. Half your team every year is going to be from the transfer portal, and it has been the last 3 years. I find it a lot more difficult to break bad habits that have already been instilled in a college player than a high school player. High school player, I can just bring in and say, don't do anything of what you just showed me, and by the way, you're starting with the bar. You can't even move the bar, you're going to start body weight, and that's okay because I'm not counting on him to produce this year. I can develop him, in other words, linear. Now the challenge is you're a senior that still can't get in a decent squat pattern without rolling out over your toes or without back pain. I've got to figure out a way to train you to get you at your physical best in 9 months. And so that's where the fun challenge is. But it's a lot different than what it used to be. A very underdeveloped profession. And the number one advice I give to anybody with high school kids is go pay a personal trainer that knows what they're doing to train you. If you don't have a good high school program, go find somebody and have them train you on the basic movements. You don't need to do a lot. I just need you really good at the basic stuff. The older guys are 99% easier to train. You have no more time. So you got to listen to me. This is not my first rodeo. I've been in this profession for 15 years. I've seen a lot of, I started at back-to-back national championships. That's my first perception. My first day on the job, they had just won the 2011 national championship, and my end of my first year, they won another one. So my programming hasn't changed by the athlete. My adaptations to your limitations, to that point too, a lot of times seniors come in with old injuries. So we've got to work around those injuries and modifications. The one thing that's not negotiable is the work. I do not waver on that on anybody. The tough part is you may have severe limitations due to older injuries and just being able to navigate, because I do not want a new member of this team to sit over there in the corner and be modified and trained while everybody works really hard. That's a bad perception on that player. Us in the weight room, and particularly in the last 7 weeks prior to spring ball or prior to spring break, is I've got to put the team, my philosophy, pain and suffering amongst the common group is the fastest way to bind guys together. Because if we all went through it, now I respect you, you respect me because you saw me go through the same thing you went through. We don't keep score right now. And it's 50 new guys just joined 50 guys from Memphis. The Memphis guys know each other because they played together. The 50 new guys and the 14 freshmen, they don't know these guys. And some were counting on, a lot of them were counting on to start and play. So how do I earn your respect right now? I got to work. I got to sweat. I got to go through the same hell, so to speak, that you're going through. So the hard part is the older guys working not necessarily around weaknesses, is working around injuries, modifications for. I can change anything. My modification actually may be worse than just doing the original, though, which will get you back to what you try. You may be bucking, so to speak.
Dave,
you brought all these people in. Where do you think we stand with our level of strength and conditioning?
All right, I'm going to answer that by saying this. I retained one of the former staff strength coaches, and he just said, as a general observation, we're stronger and faster than last year's team. I don't have a comparison. I wasn't here last year. I'm also at the mercy of whatever the coaches recruit. And I say that my least favorite line is, oh, he's a developmental guy. Okay. There's only one person that walked this earth to work miracles, and I'm not him. I'll do the best I can, but I can't stand to hear he's a developmental guy. Well, he's a senior. I'm not that good. But at the end of the day, what I have seen is from Marshall, Southern Miss to here is we've got bigger bodies. If I were watching speed on speed, I'd say probably a little bit faster. We'll see better when we put on full pads, because again, we haven't had pads on yet, and I've seen some really fast guys that can't catch a ball, so he's an ineffective wide receiver. I've seen a really, really strong guy in a weight room that once he puts a D lineman across from him, he can't anchor his feet and stop. So base looks really good. We've got a really strong O-line. I've got a really strong D-line, and I like that a lot. I don't know how tough they are when it comes to football. My job is to develop their toughness outside of that, but at the end of the day, we're here to play football. And the only real test is starting today and in the next coming weeks. When we get in that first full padded team period, O-line versus D-line, that's where we'll see. The skill guys are skill guys. They're going to run around and all that. That's not really where I'm concerned. I'm always concerned about O-line, D-line. And if I can get those guys as tough as humanly possible, we got a really good chance. Because at the end of the day, if nobody touches the quarterback, he's got 10 minutes to throw to somebody that's open. So I'm really focusing predominantly on O-line, D-line. is if we can win in the trenches, if I can get those guys strong and nasty and really, really, really gritty tough, everything else kind of takes care of itself. Yes, sir.
Tiger Sports Network. On 2 questions ago, on the philosophy number before nothing brings a group closer than shared suffering. How instrumental, foundational is that? It's one thing to be out in practice field, but the off season, the early morning lifts, to determine what a team's going to be like with the way they work behind the scenes.
It's to answer that. It's integrated in everything I teach. It's how I talk. That's why I don't smoke, but I sure sound like I do. The mentality, I think, is infinitely more important than anything else. Because once you get the mentality developed, the physical toughness will follow. Because if you're a tough SOB, you're going to go through more, whatever it is. That's why I believe in character development over anything. Because the stronger the man's character is, the stronger the competitor is. If we're training, if we're at practice, if we're in games, if he's out in the community, his character goes everywhere he is. So the more accountable, the more discipline, the more drive, the more passion, all of those things go into my every single day message. My message is individual. My message is group. My message is team. My message is in the hallway. It's how do I mess with guys? It's the most crucial component we have. Yeah, I believe. I believe the most effective strength coaches are really good at the mind, the emotional training, the character training, as well as the physical. The physical is actually pretty easy. I spend less time training them physically than I do mentally, because the mental is taught in the locker room, is taught after practice or before practice, or coach, when he comes around at 9 o'clock at night, can we talk? Yeah, sit down. I've been waiting on you to come in here. I'm not going to force you to. But I believe where we stand right now, again, I don't want to say a lie. I've been duped before. I'm a big believer of compliance versus commitment. They look identical. Shirts are tucked in. They're going to where they're supposed to do. They're working out hard. They're pushing the right weight. They're saying the right things. But their motive for doing so, if it's to avoid consequences or avoid me yelling at them, will still lose. Again, they look identical. They practice hard because you said practice hard. I'm really working on myself and Coach Huff behind the scenes to try to develop leaders that do it because you want to do it, not because we said to do it this way. If we can convert a bunch of guys that are compliant to committed, then we'll have one hell of a season, because the committed guys don't give up when the game gets tough. And right now, the hardest adversity they have is going against each other and getting up every day and training because you're tired, or training because when you don't feel good. Yeah, we can develop a lot, but at the end of the day, if the score is down in our favor, but we still have time on the clock, are you saying, I don't care about the score, I care about the time? Or I'm not going to quit no matter what. That's a hard test to put them through without actually keeping score. So I don't want to say we're tougher than teams in the past. I like where we're at. This is a group of men that seem to be very bought into Coach Huff's process, our process. I think they're very pleased, and I take a great pride in hearing the message from a lot of transfers that say, we didn't work like this in my last school. I thank you very much. I promise you, when you came in as a recruit, there's going to be, the only guarantee I can give you is this might be the toughest offseason of your life. But I don't guarantee results either. The results are on you. You have to work for them. I'll give you everything I have. The only thing I'm going to ask of you is give me everything you have. And I'm going to meet you right in the middle. So I'm going to practice what I preach. But to answer your question, toughness is everything.
Matt, both kind of deal with that.
Yes, sir.
You hit on it a little bit ago, but you mentioned that a lot of people don't understand kind of the ins and outs of your job, so you like to explain it. Quite simply, what separates you as a strength and conditioning coach? What makes you better than the guy in the same position at USF, Tulane, or Texas, whatever it might be?
Sure. I can't speak for them, and I've got a lot of really close friends that are in this business, in this profession, that are sitting in my seat. The ones that I'm the closest to talk like me. This is my life. Outside of my players, my wife and my daughter, that's the three main things on this earth I care about the most. I love what I do on a place and a passion. Listen, I've died twice in my past story. So People ask me, where do you get your passion from? If you've been where I've been, you'd be happy to be alive too. The opportunity to be around 105, 110 different people every single year and try to influence your life to push you through what you don't necessarily say you want to go through, but you want the result. To get the light to turn on for you start doing things strictly because now you like tough. You used to like the easy way out. If I can inspire one guy a year to change everything he thinks he knows and start busting his butt for what he really, really wants, no matter what, no excuse, it was all worth it. I think the difference is this is not a job for me. I get paid to do something I absolutely love, and I would do it again for free if they didn't pay me. I still don't know what else I would do because it is a job of, it's a purpose-driven profession. And the purpose is to make a difference, not a living. So if my purpose every day is to make a difference in these players' lives and help them to be better men when they leave my presence, however long that is, then I did my job. It just so happens the stronger the man, the stronger the football player. If I can make a tough SOB out of you right now, you're going to be the same tough SOB come Saturday. I've got a lot of former players, several in the NFL right now, that when something gets tough, coach, they just said I'm supposed to be the starter on national television. And why are you calling me? Well, I'm repping with the threes. Good. They want to see you fight and hang up on you. Stories like that where I love being the guy that made a difference in your life. And so with that charge, I better carry passion. I better carry my heart on my sleeve. I better coach with everything I have. I better practice what I preach. I don't think the real difference is I didn't just walk into this. I chose to do this. I had 6 years in the corporate world, and I can't stand that. I can't stand doing that. I love what I do, and I think that's what the difference is. The more you love something, the more you're going to give to it. And the more you give to it, the better the product and the better the result is. Yes, sir.
Where were you specifically were you doing when you were in the construction world and the corporate world?
Yes, sir.
What are the parallels between that and this world, if there are any? And did I understand you? I'm not misunderstood. Did you say you almost died twice?
Just for a different day, but I have died twice.
Tell me much more about that.
Behind closed doors, I'll tell you everything you need to know. I'll invite you when I tell the whole team my story, and you can sit in the back and I'll tell you everything. And I'm an open book. All of my past mistakes have gotten me to where I am today, so I wouldn't ever want to relive them again. But they made me the man I am today. That's very important for me. I'm an open book to my guys. No matter what you're struggling through, I probably have struggled through something worse or similar. But to answer your first question, so it was in Birmingham. I was in several construction companies in Birmingham, commercial construction out of college. I graduated high school in 04. High school in 99, college in 04, and then was construction management. So the parallels are actually pretty similar. You know, I was the young buck on a job site where when I messed up, they threw a hammer at your face. When you didn't complete something on time, they slashed your tires. You know, so I grew up around some really, really tough dudes on my job sites, and I took every job when I was a young guy. Not for, obviously, they don't pay you anything. I took every tough job. I wanted to start at the bottom because I wanted to be able to manage the guy one day and him never, ever be able to tell me I didn't get my hands dirty. So I always found the meanest SOB on a job site and tried to earn his respect by the time I was gone. I've done that. My father taught me that. Don't work for money, work for respect, and the money will come. And so I've always chased that. I just work for respect. And respect is earned, it's not given. I try to instill that with these guys. You've got to earn people's respect. You've got to earn your fans' respect. Yeah, they're fans, but you earn the attendance by wins. Give them something to show them something. Give them a show. The parallels are pretty similar in that you got a lot more driven people in this profession than out there. But I've always had a drive to get my hands on something and build it. I've always loved the process of taking something that is not much and making it something great. The cool part about this profession is everybody in this building, especially Charles Huff, is an extremely driven, motivated, successful person. And we're all trying to do one common goal: win championships, create value for these young guys to chase their dreams. So The difference would be a lot of people are just checking a box. This isn't now. There's a lot of value in getting on a job site with somebody and hates their life, but that's all they can do to feed their family, which makes me very blessed to be able to do something like this. We don't come to work. Digging a ditch for 14 hours a day, that's hard work. I try to tell my guys that. Yeah, hey, man, this really isn't that hard. This ends in an hour, hour and a half, and you're good. You get to go home and shower. You know, that ditch has got to be dug today, tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day by hand because you can't get a piece of equipment in there. So I use that a lot to say that's always waiting for you if this doesn't work out. I got plenty of connections back in that industry if you want to go do it. But I am grateful because that thickened my skin. I was around some really, really tough dudes that were really hard on me. And I'm grateful for them because it gave me a lot of perspective. And it gave me a lot I can teach these guys.
Last one, John. So do you have any tips for the guys right out in front of the buildings that could be flashbacks?
Not at all. I pass them with absolute smile on my face. I can't stand the smell of that dirt every day. I'm good. No, with that, look, I'm an open book. If anybody ever wants to come get a shot of us in the weight room and all that kind of stuff, the summer phase is really fun. That's where a lot more speed and power based. That's what makes for a lot more fun. Like, oh, wow, you can really kind of see a product. Right now it's just molding. I'm just molding, find out what we have. What's the base? Just like both coaches talked about, what's our base? I'm learning these guys, and the number one thing I have is a relationship. Relationships take time. I can push you a lot harder if I have a relationship. So that takes time, and unfortunately we don't have a lot of time, but it is what it is. And so, but the cool part is I'm really encouraged. This is a fun group. They're moldable, they're trainable, and they're hungry, and that's all I need. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, guys.